to? All right, good. Well, I'm glad that you can hear me now, so we'll start from the top. Brett, Dan, and Matt, you guys sure make it helpful where we can see you up there. It's quite an addition. So, Syndicated Solar was founded in 2009 and quickly became one of the industry leaders in the solar marketplace. We're headquartered in Denver, the DTC Center, which is the technology center. We host dozens of sales representatives all across the country. Started from Denver to California, all the way out to the East Coast. Our primary markets are Grand Junction, Denver, and Missouri. We assist in all aspects of the business development. Our core staff is comprised of solar experts in engineering, architecture, construction, accounting, legal, sales, and more. With all the objectives assisting our affiliates and partners, we originate, propose, close, and deliver business all across the country. So we've installed hundreds of systems. We have perfect Better Business Bureau rating, a perfect Dun & Bradstreet rating, and we use the very best products in finding financing options that you can find in the industry. So we're going to be circulating a training manual that also talks a lot about syndicated solar and what we offer to our team. So if you don't have that already, let me know and I will circulate that to you. But many of you have already been sent the training manual. The training manual is one of the things that I want you guys to review this weekend and really study, put notes in, what you've taken away, what questions that you have about things. And there's also a PV study and test, but I'm getting a little ahead of myself, and those are some of the things that we're going to be circulating to you for the weekend. I'd like to talk really quickly about what we're going to be discussing today, and that is one of the biggest tools that you will have available to you, and that's what's called Solar Advantages. Solar Advantages is what you see up on your screen right now, and this is your CRM. This is what's going to allow you to communicate with your team remotely, really keep yourself organized and scheduled with different prospects and opportunities, your contract projects, and your follow-ups. So the first thing that I want to do before we get into Solar Advantages today is to pull up the email that Brett Spencer sent everyone. So you should have an email that it says welcome aboard. It introduces your new syndicated email, and it also talks you through setting up that email on an Outlook browser if that's what you're using. You can certainly go to the Exchange server itself and log on when you want to check those emails. But the easiest thing to do is to sync it to your Outlook. You can also sync it to your phone, which I'm not sure if Brett's going to cover today. But first thing is just getting you signed in and familiar with that platform, and then so from there you can start to set up your Solar Advantages login. Brett will walk you through these steps and get you affiliated with Solar Advantages. He's going to do an overview of the entire program, and we'll also be circulating a manual for how to use this program as well, which may have been included in this email, which is SA Handbook 2.2. So these things are going to be a bunch of information that you guys can really study this weekend and get familiar with in your own pace. And we'll pick up on the following Monday with SA training number 2. Which will be some review of the things that you guys talked about today. We can do some question and answer for those of you that have really been able to dive into it. So Brett Spencer, which is one of our key members of the team, is going to be introducing Solar Advantages to you guys today and really doing an interactive and in-depth training on this program and platform. So to get familiar with Brett, he is a sales ops team member. He's also going to be reviewing a lot of your deals that you process and submit to your team through Solar Advantages, and you will be communicating with him pretty regularly. So I'm going to mute my speaker now and turn the audio over to Brett so that he can introduce himself and start to walk you guys through some of these steps. So thanks, enjoy, and we will be talking to you soon. So thanks, Steph, for the introduction. Let me walk you guys through what I sent you out in that email just to make sure that everybody can get set up correctly on their computer speaker. I'm getting some talk back here. There we go. That'll do it. I want to get everybody set up on Outlook, at least walk you through the process. If you're able to follow along as we go along and try this out now, great, maybe set it up. If not, don't worry about it. You can always contact me if you're having some trouble after this call. So just walking you through this email here, setting up your SSI email. Let me share my screen. If you've got Microsoft Office and Outlook, you can configure Outlook to be able to display your email, send and receive, and all that. If you don't, you can always just use webmail. This first line here, you can actually open up a web browser, take you right to that. You're always going to get this expired security certificate warning right off on the first page. You're going to click on proceed anyway. It looks like that's not showing up on our shared screen. Yeah, now we go. Okay. So on this page, after you've clicked on proceed anyway, even though the security certificate's expired, you can see this is the login page. But the first time you're here, you're going to want to set up Microsoft Outlook to work with it. So you're going to click on this link right down here, integration with Windows. And let me grab my notes here so I'll tell you the right way to do it. All right. So from here, I'm going to be clicking on download Curio Outlook connector. And that's going to install a file, or sorry, it's going to download a file you can then install. Right there it is. And once that downloads it, you can click on that, and it's going to launch a program that's going to start synchronizing Outlook with your email address. And there's a small chance that it doesn't work. If that's the case, then just start talking to me and we'll try and figure it out. Looks like St. Louis guys have not gotten the email yet. I'll send that out afterwards. Once you have set up that program, you're going to come back to this web page and click here to auto configure Curio Outlook connector. And that has you put in your username and password. At this point you can log in. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to mess up my Outlook right now. But your username is going to be your first name dot last name, unless you've got a two-word last name, in which case it's first word dot last word. You just put dots wherever you've got spaces. And the password is going to be Solar1, S-O-L-A-R, the number 1. I just set everybody's password up that way as default. And that should get you set up with Outlook. If it's not working, like I said, just use webmail. That'll work fine for the moment. And just talk to me and we'll see if we can get it sorted out. We'll cancel that out. And we'll move on to setting up Solar Advantages login. Now, the first time you log into Solar Advantages, you're going to be using your syndicated solar email address, which should be first name dot last name, or put dots wherever you have spaces. I know that there are two guys that I was not able to set up a syndicated solar email for this morning, and they are Ken Bergman and Chris King. So I set you up with the email address you provided
to your sales manager. You can use that email address to log in here. So you type in your email address, like that, and I've already got a password, so I've had it autofill for me. But the first time you log in, you're actually going to click on Reset Password, and that's going to send the email address you entered over here. And you can use that password for 1 hour, and it'll be just some string of gobbledygook as you expect. You come back to this page, you put the password in here, click on Log Me In, and then it's going to take you to a page where you can change your new password. It'll look a lot like this, but it'll just say New Password and re-enter your password. Once you set up your own password, then you're good to go. And I've got the ability to change people's passwords, reset them. If you have problems, if it's not working, if you can't ever get that email, then let me know. Send me an email, give me a call, and I'll definitely be able to work that out for you quickly. Okay, moving on. Next step. You've got your Solar Advantages login set up. Any of you who are in Colorado or California, you will have access to Clean Power Finance, which is our third-party leasing and EPA financer. Here in Missouri, you're not going to be using that. It's just not something we do in Missouri. And we're not going to go through that today. That'll be part of a later training. So you just hang on to this email and use it next time or training, or actually probably a couple of trainings now when we start this training. Okay. Next up on the agenda, we have Solar Advantages. I want to walk you through Solar Advantages, what's in there, and how to use it, at least for the initial period. There's a whole lot of capability in Solar Advantages. It's the full-on Compact Resource Management Center. It's the project management center for our construction team. Our admin team uses it to organize all of our files and track projects through utility applications and handing it off from construction to construction. There's a lot of action going on in here and a lot of functionality that you're not going to see in this initial training. But for now, I'm just going to walk you through how we enter projects. And first, I'm going to show you what's in here so that you're a little bit familiar with it, not totally alien, because there's just a whole lot in here. Whenever you log in, it's going to take you to the dashboard. And on the dashboard, we've got a bunch of tools for helping you find your projects and for helping you find information that we keep in our global documents area, as well as scheduling tasks for yourself, keeping notes for yourself, keeping track of your goals. There's a lot here. Let's start with this section over here. We've got prospects. Right here, I don't have any prospects right now, and not been prospects, not being a salesperson. But if you have any prospects you've entered there that's still in the prospect stage, they're going to show up. Opportunities, same thing. I've got a few opportunities that are pending, including my own house. And then you can check out contracted projects, completed projects, and anything lost. All of those make a real quick way to just navigate right to whatever you're looking for. If it's not going to be easy like that, if you've got a huge long list and you want to search for somebody in particular, you can type in a name here, and it's going to do a search through all the different fields. You can type in names, you can type in phone numbers, street names, cities, states. All of that is going to bring up a list of whatever fits that criteria for you. And then you can just click right on one of these names or one of these projects, and it's going to go right to it. See if I can find mine in here. There I am. Clicked on that, I can go right to my project. My contact. So that's jumping ahead a little bit. I want to show you how to actually enter one of these projects. That's your main focus here. You're selling, you want to talk to people, you want to get their information, you want to enter it into Solar Advantages so that we can track it, you can track it, You can hand it off to your team, and everybody knows what's going on with this customer when it comes time to create a project for it. So let's go back here. Back to this blank dashboard. And I'll finish walking you through what else is on here. We have goals. You can track your goals here. As you're reaching your goals, sales, I don't have goals. You won't see anything like that there. We've got a corporate message center right here. Right now, Justin has updated what the current soft close list and contract list is, and given us a fire under our butts to start converting some of those soft closes into actual contract jobs. Soft closes being a job where somebody has made a commitment to go forward with the project, but hasn't actually signed a contract yet. I'm going to move this computer a little closer to me. It looks like you guys are having a little trouble hearing me. A little farther down, we've got scheduled tasks. One of the nice features in Solar Advantages is that you can actually schedule a task for yourself or for somebody else. Say, don't forget the meeting with Joe Bob next week at 4 o'clock on Friday, and bring your camera. So you can put notes in there, you can schedule a task for yourself, and all your tasks are going to show up here. And I'll show you how to do that in just a bit once we've created an opportunity in the project. Dashboard notes, you can write notes for yourself that are just going to show up on the dashboard every time you open up the home page here. And then down here on the bottom is the whole other category of stuff. We've got global documents. This has all of the files that you and the admin team and the construction team need to access on a regular basis. We've got contracts for each different state. I'll look at Colorado here. We've got several different contracts along with some samples to help customers understand what they're going to be getting into when they sign contracts. We have contracts for cash payment. We have contracts for clean power finance, third-party ownership, an engagement letter sample. SunCap was one of our old partners for financing. It's all in there. The same is true for our other states, along with a lot of other stuff. There's a lot of information in here that you're not going to be accessing on a regular basis, like authorized integrator agreement forms and preferred installer agreements. But there is a lot of information that we'll be checking in on regularly here, such as sales tools. This is where we've got a lot of good stuff for helping you manage the information that you're going to be gathering with all of your prospects. One of my favorites is the, see if I can see it here. Well, you'll be looking at the CPF sample homeowner invoices if you're in Colorado or California. That gives an invoice that customers are going to be receiving once they're signed up with us, and they can just take a look at it and say, oh, this is what I'm going to get. Clean Power Finance Optimum Systems, you know what to expect there. Let's see if I can find something more relevant to you. Let's look in Missouri. There's a lot of files in here. Let's see if I can turn that down. I think it says, where's your volume button? There it is. Okay. How solar works. There's one of our files that we hand out to customers when we first meet them, just to show them, here's what solar is. So lots of information in here. Talk to your sales manager, and they'll be showing you which pieces of information or what you actually need to be pulling out, using as a packet to send to your customers, using for research. But just know that there's a whole lot in here. We even have utility company information for different states. Colorado, Xcel Energy, lots of different files in here for just about anything you want to know about Xcel Energy. And one other thing you want to see that's in here going to be very useful to you is training webinars. Here we've got a bank of some tutorials. We're working on it all the time to add more. Things like how to change your Solar Advantages password. There's a video there to show you how to do that. A video to show you how to get a customer's utility history off of Excel's website. So lots of useful stuff. Your sales manager is going to be showing you what you need to know in there. Just know that it's there. All right, now that we're out of global documents, let's start talking about how to add a customer into Solar Advantages. So let's say you just talked to a friend of yours. They say, yeah, sure, I'm interested. I want to help you guys get started as solar sales professionals. So sure, sign me up. Let's get a proposal. Okay, great. So you got somebody you want to add into Solar Advantages because you're going to be tracking everything in here. It just makes life a whole lot easier instead of dealing with pieces of paper. First thing you're going to do is click on, sorry, the first thing you want to do is look it up on Google Maps if it's not somebody whose house you're familiar with already. I'm going to use my address here as an example. Now Google Maps is what we use because this is where our design team goes because they're using Google SketchUp to do their drawings, their 3D models of houses. So they actually get, in Google SketchUp, they can put on the ground this map. And it'll show them exactly what the layout of the house is. They start their drawing based on the map with real dimensions. So if you're trying to use Bing Maps, then you're going to end up with wrong information. It's not going to look quite right. And you may end up with something useful, but you're not going to. You may not see that some of the landscaping has changed. Like a tree is there now, and sorry, was there in the picture and isn't there now. And you may be talking to design about, hey, here's this house, and they're looking at a different house because just like we see here, Google Maps has my house wrong. This is actually my house right here. So it's always important to start with the right information. I'm going to center this on my house here, and what we want to do here is just take a look at what Google Maps has and whether it's correct or not, and how we can transfer this information over to the design and sales ops teams in a way that they can really read it. There's a lot you can put into a picture that you just can't do by talking about it. So what I'm going to do is, once I've located the right place, I'm actually going to take a screenshot of that with the Snip tool on Windows. If you're on a Mac, I can talk to you about how to do that. It's actually laid out in the handbook that I sent you. So I'm going to take a snapshot of this area right here. And now once I'm in the Snip tool, I can start drawing on it. And pick a red pen here. And what I'm going to do is, since it's a multi-family residence here, I'm just going to draw off the property line so that it's a little clearer for the design team. And drawing with a mouse is ugly. And once I've gone to the site, I know that there's a meter and an MVP right over here on this end of the building. So I'm going to put that there. Yeah, that's pretty. And I know that the sub panel is inside the house. I'm going to put that there. And this tree could potentially have some shading problems for the lower porch roof, which looks like the only south-facing roof. But I know that it's a real tiny tree. I'm going to write that in there. Looks like I got my crayons out. All right, so I'm going to save that to my desktop. I'm going to save that for later so that I can upload it to the project that we're going to be making. Done with that. Great, so now we've got an overview of what's at this site with a couple of notes that would be kind of hard to describe without a picture. Next up, I want to make sure that the owner of this house is actually the person I've been talking to. Because you never know, sometimes there can be miscommunication, or it could be that there's a trust that owns the house, and this is stuff you need to know. So I'm going to use Zillow, which is a really great website to find this information out, at least the beginnings of it. I'm going to put in my address here. It should bring it up. Yep, there it is. It brings up the whole map, all the houses on it. I'm going to click on this link right here with my address to bring up the page for this house. Nice, you can see that right there on the front, there's a square footage number. Sometimes that comes in handy when you're trying to figure out electrical calculations for the house. So it could be that somebody will ask that at some point, and they'll have it right there. More facts button. That's where we want to go, because that is going to tell us which county or which municipality we're talking about. Here we are, Denver County, and it's also going to tell us the parcel number. I'll just do a little copy on that. And I'm going to go over to the Denver County Assessor's website. And there's the Assessor's Office, Property Records. That's what we want. They always name it something different. Property search, records search, property records. But usually it's easy to find. There's a parcel number. Doesn't always work to put the parcel number in there, but it is on this one. And there's my wife's name, so you know I've got the right one. I'll click on that and get the full record. And it's interesting on this, I noticed when I checked this out a little earlier today that there is no place on this page where you can see my name. You can see my wife's name with an and sign. That's about all they show. So not a perfect system, but it'll get you there. Now I've got this page, which is giving me the official owner's name. I'm going to take a snip of that. And so you know what, I should probably include the Denver site, Denver County site. Do a new snip of that. Great. So that's got all the information we need just to prove that that's the correct owner. And I will save that on my desktop. And that'll get uploaded later too. Great, so we've collected a bunch of information. At this point you may or may not have gone out to the site and done a site evaluation. Better if you have, but I know there's going to be situations where it's just not feasible right now, or you've got somebody who's just hot to go and you can figure out some good information about their location by looking at the Google Maps. And you know it's going to work out well enough. If you can't get good information on Google Maps, then we're going to have to start talking about doing a site evaluation for sure. But yeah, let's start out by adding a prospect. Back on the dashboard page, you're going to click on Add Prospect with the green plus there. And then it's going to bring us to a new page. There's the dashboard again, and below that, you scroll down, We're now ready to create a client profile. I'm going to call myself sample because I'm already in the system. On this page, we've got red arrows showing up. Anything with a red arrow has to be filled in, otherwise you're not going to be able to save the project. So, this is going to be a residential project. Anything that's less than $250,000 is a residential project, even if it's a small business. Just the way we run it. Lead source. I'm going to say direct solicitation by business development. Somebody I contacted myself. Assigned to me by default. We've got a prospect by default. Entity structure, EIN number, DUNS number, those are all more commercial related things, so we're going to ignore that for now. And description, here's where I can say, myself, nice guy. Anything just to remind you of who this was, anything that happened at the visit, something you want to remind yourself of who this customer is. It's not somebody you already know. Moving down, we've got phone number. There's my phone number. I'm not going to put in a fax. I could put in an email. That would be helpful. Street address. And city. Sounds like the guy's getting rockets next door in design. Colorado, zip code, all those are required. And the county, I'm going to put that in just because I know it. It's helpful. Not required, but could be useful. Project disposition. Here's where you can talk about what happened when you tried to contact this customer and some things didn't go right. Reasons why it's not going to be working. And then if somebody, one of your customers, somebody else referred this customer to you, this is where you fill in that information so that they'll be able to get their referral fee. I want to make sure you get that. Then you get happy referrers referring more people to you all the time. Address, and then farther down here we've got promotion description and promotion status. And this is if you have offered this customer a promotion to close the deal. Probably not going to be filling that in right as you're filling in this first information. You may still be doing research. You may still be getting ready to give them a proposal. So that could be something you come back to later and fill in once you've decided you need to offer them a promotion to sweeten the deal. And then once we're done with that, we're going to send that information to the database. That'll save it. And it's going to take you right back to the top of the same page. Here's the dashboard again. And scroll down. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not doing that anymore. That's a change we made. Good. It's taking us right to the opportunity page. So there's my name, client information, the description I wrote in, lead source classification is residential, phone number, address, and we can actually view this on the map by clicking there, which is kind of nice. Brings us to Bing. That's something we're working on. I'd like to get that switched over to Google Maps, but at least you can take a look at where it is. Down here we've got contacts. Right in there, if you wanted to add somebody, there's a spouse that you want to put on there, you can always put that on there by clicking on Add New Contact. Pops up a little window. There you go. You can fill in name, contact information, anything you want to talk about. That'll all show up on this opportunity page once you filled that in. Oh, and I should mention that the name that you put in as the name of the opportunity, that should be the name of somebody who's on the title of the house. You want to make sure that that name is the legal name of the owner or a legal name of an owner. If it's a trust, it needs to be a trustee. That way, whenever our admin team is making their documents, making applications to utility companies, making permits for the construction team, they're going to be using that name as the name that they fill in. They're just going to go there, say that's got to be it, so go with it. So calling it my friend Joe isn't going to be very helpful. A little farther down, we've got client conversation logs, notes. That's the place where you're going to be spending a lot of time putting in information about anything that goes on, anything that happens with contact with your customer. You can keep track of what you've told them, what they've told you. This is also a place where the admin team is going to be writing down information about how the project is going. You may see sales ops and design chiming in there, although there's another area where they'll also be entering information on the project rather than on the opportunity once we create a project. So you'll just see a lot of activity on there. And anytime anybody in our company goes to a project to start work on it, first thing they do is start reading these notes, see what happened. Client tasks. This is what I was talking about before, where there are tasks that show up on your dashboard. You can schedule a task, and you can do it with setting a due date, choosing which project it's for. Could be that you've got a customer with 2 different projects, like a summer home and a primary home. So you choose which project it's for. And then you can set this task to be for a person, or if you want, several different people. And it could be you, it could be other people. One warning here, if you set it for several different people, any one of those people could mark it done. If they don't like that project, they say, oh, this has nothing to do with me, they click it done, then the project is done, sorry, the task is done, and nobody else who's supposed to be watching it will see it anymore. So probably best to just keep it down to one person. And if you click this box, you can also send an email notice to the person you just checked. And client file search, that lets you search what's in the files. There's going to be a lot of files in here once the project is finished, so it could be useful. But moving on to making new projects. You've got an opportunity, you've got this potential customer, you want to actually set up their project for building a solar array. So we're going to click on Create New Project. And here comes the dashboard, scrolling down. All right, creating a new project for Mr. Sample Spencer. It's got the name filled in already. It's got me as the BDR filled in, and those are our red arrow fields. So great, they're filled in. We know this is going to be able to save once we get all the red arrow fields filled in. The integrator. We don't know who the integrator is in most cases. I think in Missouri right now we do only have one integrator, so you'll probably know in Missouri. But anywhere else, it could be anybody. We'll let construction figure that out. SOP, we're going to go with residential. Looks like we don't even have a commercial option anymore. I thought that was still there. This website changes all the time. We're always making adjustments and changes to make it better. So new stuff that I find every time I give this talk. Is the client interested in tax credits or grants? That is a commercial question. We're going to leave that as no. Site name. Spencer residence. The address the same as in the intro? Yes. Hey, look at that, it autofilled. That's great. And then down here we've got financing questions. Is financing arranged? That's more of a commercial question. Commercial opportunities may have their own financing plans. Occasionally a customer of ours may have their own plans to do a HELOC or something like that. You can discuss it there. Otherwise, you're mostly just going to be picking a financing type. Is it going to be a lease, a PPA, cash, and finance themselves, clean power finance? NRG is another option that currently isn't available but could be again at some point. And EnerBank is one of our loan companies. The bank will give us loans for solar arrays, so that could be an option. So let's pick on this one, cash. Proposed system size, don't know that yet. We'll leave that to the design team. Assessor's parcel number, you can put that in. Actually have it. Who knows, might come in handy. Legal owner of record. Now you did fill this out at the beginning in the opportunities name. If for some reason the name you put there is different than the legal owner of record, say there's a trust, and you want to have the potential customer's name as the name of the opportunity, you can then put the trust name here. That would work. But otherwise, you don't need to use it. Project disposition. Same thing here. There could be a couple different projects on this one opportunity, especially if it's a commercial opportunity. You could have several different business spaces, locations, and you can leave project dispositions on each one of them there. Now we get into all the technical stuff. You won't really need to fill in a lot of this. We've worked our site evaluation so that you guys don't need to be solar experts. You don't need to be electricians. You don't need to be construction experts to be able to do this work. You need to be able to sell solar. And so we're just trying to make this more simple than it has been. So there's going to be a lot of fields here that we're not going to be filling out, and the design team is going to fill that out for you. If you happen to know the meter number, great, fill it in. Utility company, I'm going to do Excel, because I know that one. Distance between array and meter, and the transformer of the meter, and the location of the meter, and installation locations for production meters, all of that stuff is stuff you don't need to know, or in the case of location of existing electric meters, you probably already pointed it out on that overhead diagram, so you don't need to fill it out. Let's see, those installation locations for inverters, that's something we'll get into with the design team. Notes about the main distribution panel. If you happen to have some notes about the main distribution panel, you should put that into the notes section in the project, so we can just ignore that here. And all of this down here about panels and subpanels, they're all technical, so you can leave that alone too. So pretty much that whole section, you can skip it unless you really feel you've got some information that you want to put in there. Internet connection. Main thing here is, do they have one? If it's yes, great, everything's going to go smoothly. If it's no, there could be some problems with monitoring, especially if you're talking about a lease or a PPA through Clean Power Finance. They require an internet connection. If you don't have an internet connection at the opportunity site, they're going to need to get one. If they're buying it, well, then they can make the decision themselves. Most people have them, so it's not an issue with them. And you'll need to fill in this stuff here because that's more technical. You can let the design team figure that out. Notes about this site, that will show up in a place that's hard to read, so let's save the notes for the notes section that shows up on the project page. Permit and contracted dates. That's construction's bailiwick, so we can leave that alone. Integrator information, same thing, we can let construction figure that out. And the referral information. Now you already filled out referral information and promotion description. And you did so on the opportunity, and that is going to be fine. If it turns out that this has multiple projects and you need to figure out multiple referrals from different people for different projects for this one opportunity, seems unlikely, but if that ever happens, you can put it in here. Otherwise, just skip it. It should be fine. And I'm going to save this. All right, back to the dashboard, and it automatically brings us down to Spencer's. We have a project. Excellent. So in this project, there's a lot of stuff. I have some links that you're not going to see, like building financial analysis, the lead project. All of that depends on the preferences. Sorry, your permissions in Solar Advantages. I've got them all, so you can see everything. You will have this edit this project profile, and if ever you need to make any additions, edits, changes, put in a promotion description once you figure out what the promotion is, then you can click on that, and it'll bring you right back into that page we were just looking in. Then you get it, scroll down here. There we go. Brings you right back to that project builder page. Let's scroll down to the bottom there and resave that. Okay, here we are at the Spencer residence. You can see we've got a name for it. If we end up with multiple projects, we may have multiple windows like this, scrolling down the page, one above the next. We can name them each something different, like garage only, or full set, or best payback, or whatever it is that needs to be done to have several different proposals to show the customer. We want to keep them to a minimum as much as possible so we don't confuse the customer and we don't overwork our teams. But you know, when it's necessary, it's nice to know that you can make multiple projects for one opportunity. We have project rating. It starts out as neutral. We're just going to fill in information. We don't know if this is hot or cold yet. Once it does become, needs to move to a different status, we've got all these different statuses from dead, which would be somebody signed up with another solar company, they got their solar array, but they didn't get it from us. That's bad news. Cold, no, they're just not going to buy right now. They don't have the cash, or they can't pass the credit check for the financing company. That's cold. Maybe we'll get back to it some other time. Neutral, it starts out that way. You can also switch it to neutral if it's on hold because we're trying to figure something out. We just don't want it to be showing up on our hot list as a project that needs to be worked on. So you may use that from time to time. Hot is the hot button. Hot means I need somebody to do something with this project. I need the design team to look at this project. And what happens when you mark a contract, or mark a proposal, sorry, project hot, is the design team takes a look in project portfolios, which is the reporting section of Solar Advantages. Every morning, we pull a hot list and say, what's hot in Solar Advantages today? And once we get that list, we start cranking away on figuring out how to make proposals for those systems. So if you mark something hot and you didn't put in your information yet, you're going to get some nasty emails back saying, hey, how come you're wasting our time with this job? So once you know what you need to do for this job, once you have all your information for this job, then you mark it hot, and that's going to get the attention of the design team. And we've made a promise to check on these projects daily, usually a couple times a day, and we will get started on your project within 12 hours when you're entering it, even if you enter it in at 5:30 our time on a Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. We'll definitely have somebody looking at it in the morning and getting started on it. And we should have you a proposal within 24 hours. And we've been doing a good job on that lately, so I would count on that. Once we've actually created a proposal for you, we're going to mark it proposal. And that's how you know that your job is ready for sending out a proposal and taking the proposal out to a customer. And then soft close is for when you have some kind of commitment from the customer in the form of, say, a deposit check, utility application, or signed letter of commitment. And then contracted, of course, after you've got a contract signed. So that's the project rating. Just below that, we've got the financing. I chose cash and self-finance. This lets anybody who takes a look at this project know, is this going to be cash, is it going to be lease, is it going to be PPA? All of those things do make a difference in how we design the project. All the way down to such things as I know that if it's a PPA, I have to have 4 open breaker slots in the main distribution panel. But if it's cash, I only need 2. So that could make the difference between adding a sub-panel and an extra $400 on the job, or not needing that at all. And sometimes that makes a difference in whether we can sell a job. So definitely makes a difference. Financing approved, that is after we've run a credit check through Clean Power Finance or gotten a finance approval through Interbank. Our admin team will update that. You can see who the integrator is once that's been set. when the contract was signed, once that's been checked off and uploaded, and when the permit was signed, once the inspection is passed. So you can really get a quick glance at this and see where the project is and when something happened. Very nicely. Moving on down the list, we got the upload center. This is where you go to, surprisingly enough, upload your stuff. You're going to be uploading site pictures, you're going to be uploading your overhead shot that I took a little earlier, you'll be uploading report, contracts, all kinds of things. And each one of these sections here has a reason. A few of them apply to you, many of them apply to engineering or admin. So we won't be going through all of those. Next bar down the list is the download center. And this is where you're going to be able to find all of the information that you upload and all of the information that anybody else in the company uploads. When you are ready to take a contract to a customer, you can look in the contracts folder, and there will be a subfolder in there that says unsigned. You can get your unsigned contract. Once you've uploaded your project pictures, they're going to show up in here in the site eval folder. You can upload from here as well, but the correct way to do it, I'll show you in a minute. It's going to be through the upload center. No, I'm getting deep that. That's just somebody entering the conversation. All right. You can also do a catch-all down here, with a catch-all here that shows you all of the pictures, unless there's more than 15, and all of the files. So you can always go there if you don't know where to find the file you're looking for. And then the last tab down here, site evaluation information. This is a summary of all the stuff that we filled in, or actually mostly didn't fill in as we were creating this project. So you can see site information here. There's that stuff we filled in with my address and my assessor's parcel number. And then moving on down, we've got project notes. You can create notes here about this project. This is a lot like the client conversation logs notes that we looked at just a minute ago. We've got two different places for a reason. Client conversation logs is a place where you can track information about the customer, usually initial information before you've created a project, and admin likes to put their information in there after the project has been created. But if you've got information relating specifically to this project, like they cut down the trees, so we're good to go with shade issues now, or turns out that it's a rental unit and I thought they owned the home, but they didn't, well, that could have been here. And whenever you write a note, you can, again, send an email to anybody in the company or several people in the company by holding down control. Once you click save on that, it'll save it. It'll put it right here in this project notes section and send off an email to whoever you chose. Now, project notes are really handy. They're the key to a team system. Because we've got a team, we've got all these different departments, and many of us are in different states. It's just so key to be able to have the conversation that's going on about this project noted right there. You can look through those notes, follow along, see what's happened, know where we are now, know whether something got done or not. And one of the pitfalls to this is when we send emails out through that checkbox, send an email, then what we're really doing is sending that conversation out away from the project notes, away from Solar Advantages, and to an email account. And it's really easy to get an email from somebody and then say, okay, I need to respond to this email, hit reply, give them the answer that they need, and now we've just taken the conversation off of Solar Advantages. So what's going to happen then is, say, the admin team is going to come along and say, all right, I need to know the answer to this question. Well, there's the question that's been asked on Solar Advantages, but it never got answered. What the heck happened? What, how come nobody ever answered that? So it's real important to, if you get an email from somebody, come back to your project, come back to Solar Advantages, answer it there. It's nice to be able to get that notification, but we got to keep it on Solar Advantages. And moving down the way here, we've got on the right-hand side our residential SOP ladder. You can actually see at a glance where we are right now. This one's got the opportunity started. And you can see that I started it and when I did, which is really nice, just by hovering your mouse over that. The next one up would be site evaluation complete. The site evaluation hasn't been filled out, all the blue arrow fields that we skipped, so that's not going to be finished. You can see if I hover over it, it says provide information in project profile form. So it's nice that you can see what has to happen next and how to clear that benchmark if you hover over it. It'll actually tell you what to do. And then as things go on, after you've proposed a project to a customer, after they've accepted it, contracted it, you can actually come back here, check in, and see, oh, final site evaluation has been done by the integrator. Oh, they set a construction date. Great. And then, later on, permitted, commissioned, owner's manual delivered. Really helps you be able to understand where your customers are at and whether or not you need to get in touch with them. When it's the time to talk to them and make that touch and say, hey, I saw that your owner's manual got delivered. How's the system going? Is there anybody you want to refer to us because you did such a great job? And then, yeah, as the project goes along, you'll see those bars turn green. Yeah, it really helps be able to track that stuff. So next to that, we've got the array specifications. This is a snapshot of the actual array that gets built. This all gets filled in by the design team. So you don't have to worry about what's in here, except to know that you can come take a look at this and take a look at the system size, the DC system size, so you know how big an array your customer is getting. And this definitely is important when you get into a project that doesn't go so smoothly. If you have a project where there's issues that come up, there's changes that get made, you have to make another proposal, you make several different proposals because the customer really needs to see one on the garage versus on their house, or a ground mount as well as a roof mount. And then you have to start paying attention to, does the information here in the array specifications match what I'm contracting with the customer? And there's also going to be, just above array specifications right in here, there's going to be a picture of the house, the 3D model of the house with the array on it, or the ground mount with the array there. And looking at that is really going to give you a clue as to whether or not we've got the correct information here that's also being contracted. So that's part of the process. As we go along, you'll see that we really need to keep that communication going of, if there's multiple proposals, if there's changes that happen, keep talking with sales ops, with your manager, with the design team, whoever it is that needs to be communicated with, by making notes in Solar Advantages so that we can make sure that everything matches in the end. And that's actually one of my jobs. I'm the soft close guy, so once you've got a commitment from a customer, I go through and I check all the details and make sure they all match up. So I'll probably be talking to you guys about, hey, I noticed that the email address is different in one place than in another. Clearing out details like that, making sure that everything lines up so that it goes as smoothly as possible, and you guys get your commissions as quickly as possible, and our customers get satisfaction of a new solar array as soon as possible. Down on the bottom, we've got a detailed listing of installation progress. You can see each different step in installation, ordering parts and assigning the permits, all the way down to completion date. You can really track with detail and all of that. All right, so that's all of what's in there. Let me get back to how to use it. First thing we were going to do is get back to my notes. I'm going to upload all of the files that we've got on this site. If you've got some utility bills from this customer, great. I know it's not always going to happen right up front, but we'll go into the upload center here and excuse me, click on this drop-down menu and find the utility bills right there. It's got a couple of asterisks on it. As you can see down here, means commercial benchmark, residential benchmark. Uploading the utility bill through this portal, through the upload center, is going to clear this benchmark down here, utility bills uploaded. So a lot of times the design team will look at a project and say, are the utility bills uploaded? No, benchmark hasn't been cleared. Okay, no point in bothering with this one yet. So it's important to upload through the upload center to clear that benchmark. So let me do that with just any old file I've got on my desktop. I clicked on that, pops up this window. I can click on the Add button, and it'll let me take a look through my files. And here's one. Add that one in there. And that's a PDF, which is great. The files we're looking for in utility bills are either going to be Excel spreadsheets or PDF documents. Occasionally you're going to not have the tools you need at hand to be able to fill out a spreadsheet of your own, or you won't be able to download a document from PDF or Excel document from the utility company, in which case you're just writing it on a piece of paper. You can scan it, you can take a digital picture of it, and then upload it here. As long as we've got the information you have and it gets uploaded through this window, it's fine. And I can click close here, or I can click off of the box that just closes it. So we've uploaded the utility bill. Next up is going to be pictures. So this is assuming that you've gone out and taken a site evaluation, been to the location, got some pictures to show. I think I actually have some pictures in my place. No, I don't think I've uploaded those yet. So I'm going to upload another file or two here. These happen to be PDFs. You're going to be uploading JPEGs. I prefer to have individual pictures, and I'll show you why, rather than a file full of 25 pictures, like a Word document with all 25 pictures in it. That tends to be harder to work with. I'm going to upload that. The pictures will take a little longer because they're a little bigger. And close that. And I'm also going to upload the assessor's information. I think I'm going to upload that to all other site evaluation pictures and videos. This is kind of our catch-all place. This is where design looks for any files that they want to find, any images from the site, any pictures, overhead pictures of from Google Earth. For some reason it's not popping up the window for me. Refresh the page. So if you don't know where to put something about a site, then this is a really good place to put it. All other site evaluation pictures, videos, here it comes. Let me find that overhead shot. There it is. And I'm also going to upload the assessor's information there too. I almost uploaded a shortcut. Ooh, that would have been ugly. Wouldn't have messed up Solar Advantages, but anybody trying to click on it would get real frustrated. It wouldn't open. All right, and I'm going to refresh the page and then take a look and see that that stuff really did get uploaded. Look at that, utility bill's uploaded, benchmark's been turned green. Scroll up to the download center here. Let's take a look in energy company documents. That's where the utility bill should be. And I can see that it created the bills folder, so I know that it got uploaded. And there's our file. And that's great. And you can actually, in any one of these files, you can do things like create subdirectories or upload more information directly to it there rather than through the upload center. After you've already cleared your benchmarks, it may be easier to do that way. But it depends on what you feel like. And then let's also make sure that the stuff I uploaded to the site evaluation folder is there. That's going to be down here in project picks in the site eval folder. And here we have these two files that I uploaded, and there they are as pictures. Sorry, there's the pictures I uploaded, the overhead shot and the assessments report. So that's all working nicely. And that means that when the design team comes to your project and says, all right, this one's hot, you need to make a proposal for them, what they do is they check out the notes, see if there's anything in there they have to pay attention to, and then they'll open up this page and say, oh, here's an overhead shot. Okay, it's this house, sub-panel, tiny tree, not going to be a problem for shade. That's what the MVP is. All right, I can get started. And then they're also going to take a look at energy company documents. Do we have bills? Yes, we do. Open them up, figure out what the yearly usage is so that we can size the system. So that's uploaded. Now that you've got your files uploaded, we're going to, I know I'm harping on the notes, but I'm going to harp on the notes again because it's a big deal. We're going to be adding in notes to tell the design team what to do with this project. Like that. I guess I can spell that right. I'm going to save that. I'm not going to send an email to Owen or Sam. They'll just see it if they look at it. And now that we've got all of our information entered, this job is ready to be turned hot and get a proposal. So we're going to go up to the project rating. We're going to mark it hot. So now, sometime in the next couple of hours, most likely somebody in the sales ops or design team is going to pull another hot list and say, oh, here's a new one. And if they've got time to work on it today, since it came in late today, they may go ahead and start working on it. You might start getting some questions about things they need to find out. And if it's a busy day today, then it'll get pulled on tomorrow morning's hot list, and they'll start working on it sometime around. We'll just start knowing that it's here and working on it in the morning tomorrow. That's when you'll start getting some feedback, and you should have a proposal back within 24 hours of initially uploading it. So that's really how it goes for putting in a prospect, putting in an opportunity, and doing everything you can to get a proposal for your customer. Just check my notes, make sure I didn't miss anything here. I think that's about it. I think we pretty much covered it. Let me check and see if anybody's been texting in any questions. Nothing yet. If you've got any questions, now's the time to ask. And if not, then I'm going to be passing this back off to Seth. But you can see that we've got a really powerful tool here. It's constantly changing for the better, so it's only going to get more amazing. And it's really, when it's worked correctly, when notes are kept correctly, when everybody's communicating with each other and providing the information that they need to provide, following the system that we've set up, things can go pretty smoothly, and we can get a lot of work done. Having all of these people in different states and different time zones makes it always more challenging, but Solar Advantages really, really helps keep that challenge down to a minimum. And I'm the one in charge of setting up accounts on Solar Advantages. So if you're having any difficulties logging into your account, if you have trouble getting your password when you reset it, then you can talk to me. I'll be able to set that up for you real quick. And yeah, I think that's about it. I'm going to go grab Seth and see if I can pass you guys back to him for close-up comments. He might have a couple of things to say. Hold on one second. Oh yeah, we've got an assignment for you guys. That's what's up next. Take it away, Seth.
So, guys, we're going to kind of cut and clip this video for those of you that I know some people said they got kicked off in the middle of this thing. So, we will be able to provide this on YouTube, so you can go back to it for reference. Also, you see that there's an essay or Solar Advantages, further referred to as essay for future reference. handbook that you guys can go look at and review. I would highly encourage you signing in, tinkering around with this, putting some prospects this weekend if you have people that are in your immediate network that you know you're going to be reaching out and engaging with, kind of getting them prepared that way. Also, usually the first thing that I have you guys do is enter yourself as a prospect, go through the process, you know, just get familiar with everything, guys. Put together a nice list of question and answers. I'm going to have Brett do a review for you of some of the final parts of this process in Solar Advantages to start the next version of the training. There's a lot more to Solar Advantages than what you guys have discovered today. We have reporting and activity functions. There's a whole global documents section, and global documents are going to find a lot of resources and sales tools that we update regularly for you, you know, to include in your binders, collateral for customers, things of that nature. So we will continue to train on this. This is only the beginning, but I encourage you to get familiar. Additionally, the training manual that we sent out, I want you guys all to read over that this weekend. There's sections that you can see to put notes in that training manual. Make those notes, put questions in there. We're going to be doing a review of that training manual in the near future, but we're also going to have a test on that training manual just to see kind of what you've taken away from it. There's a PV study email that I will make sure everyone has if you don't have it already. There's just like some simple little cartoon emails, YouTube videos, things about how solar works. You know, just kind of getting you familiar, simplifying it, you know, demystifying some of the net metering, how it works back and forth, and that arrangement with the utility. You know, review those things. There's also some free online training courses that I've provided in this link that will help you understand some of the other, you know, renewables in the industry as a whole, because people are genuinely going to ask you about these technologies, and to be able to have at least a little bit of a background is going to, you know, just give you more credit when talking to your customers. So there's lots of good PV stuff on there as well. There's a very simple PV test that we conduct online just to kind of see where everybody's at in their learning process. And the reason for these tests is not a pass or fail. The reason that we administer these exams is to see what you've retained from some of the information, what your strengths are, and really help us cater our training to the individual needs of our team. So don't look at it as a pass-fail. Just do the best that you can. We are just trying to help you identify with the things that you're already familiar with, not spend a whole lot of time on those, and really just wrap up the things that you need focus and help on. So, and finally, we will also send you a link to a site evaluation video. This is going to be an introduction to the site evaluation. Of course, you're going to have hands-on experience. For those of you in Missouri with Joe Sr., for those of you in Denver with you know, some of our senior members of the team, and then in California, you know, we'll either fly out here or we'll send somebody out there and argue full. So you will not be expected to just watch a video and know everything and how to do everything, but it's certainly going to give you a lot of insight as to what you are expected to do on a regular basis. So we will send you these links, we'll send you these emails. The reason that I'm giving you so much at one time is just due to the nature of this holiday weekend and the length of time. So we've got a lot of stuff going on. A lot of new guys, I know you're anxious and excited about the opportunity. We want to get you excited about this opportunity as well, and we want to make sure we're providing you with resources that can help you develop yourselves and get familiar with what it is that we offer, how you're going to be going about doing it, and just getting you up to speed as quickly as possible and capitalizing on this very long weekend. So I hope you found this training to be helpful. Do apologize for any of the audio issues that we had originally getting started. I think it has to do with the one computer that we were hosting the actual GoToMeeting from. I've never had these issues with mine in the past. So apologies once again. We'll get that cleared up for you guys to make this a little bit simpler going forward on Monday. We will also send you out an email, but I think that 9 a.m. Monday morning is probably a good time to kind of pick this thing up where we left off. And essentially what I would do is we'll open this up to question and answer. for some of you guys to really give us your feedback on what you found in Solar Advantages, what you had questions about, just overall high-level stuff that we can kind of introduce and get you involved in as well. So thanks again, guys, and have a very happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your families. Take the day to really embrace what the holiday is all about. And then feel free to pick this stuff up on Friday and over the weekend and get familiar. If any of you have questions, about a specific issue over the weekend that you need help with, getting an email or a training manual or something that you're missing, go ahead and send that to myself or Brett. I'll make myself available to send you that information. I want to make sure that you have everything you need for the weekend. So thanks again, guys, and enjoy the holiday.
Thanks, guys. Happy Thanksgiving.